Hello friends, welcome back to the studio. In case this is your first time here, my name's Heather. I'm the owner of Charming Chapters, which is a small bookish business located in North Dakota. This week we're doing a little bit different video. In case you don't follow us on social media, we recently adopted a new dog and we're just taking things a little bit easy this week, getting her adjusted to our home and also getting her adjusted and learning more about Luna and getting more comfortable around her too. So for me, I'm just doing a lot of behind the scenes stuff in the studio this week. There's not a whole lot to film and share with you guys. We haven't had a whole lot of orders this week, so it's been a little bit slow in the shop too. So this week we're going to mix things up. We're going to talk about some tax deductions that you may not have even thought about. Now, just keep in mind, I am in no way a legal advisor or anything like that. I just wanted to give you some ideas of some things that you may not have known about that you should be keeping track of for taxes. And if you stay tuned at the end, I'll introduce you to our new dog, Holly. She is the sweetest little thing. So stick around and I'll introduce you to her as well. When it comes to running a small business, there are a lot of things you should be keeping track of that you may not have thought of. Now, in case you have any questions, definitely reach out to an accountant and they'll talk to you about different things that you should be keeping track of for your own small business, because each business is different depending on what you create and what type of business you're running too. Now, if you're a business owner who makes physical products like myself, two important things that you should be keeping track of are your sales. Of course, that's kind of a no-brainer for most people. You want to keep track of your sales so that way you know how much to report for income at the end of the year. But then you also need to keep track of your inventory at the end of the year too, because that's going to affect your taxes based on what you've spent for supplies and different things like that too. So two of the main things you want to keep track of are going to be your sales for the year and also keep track of your inventory. Personally, I do inventory throughout the year just to keep track of things, make sure everything's up to date on Etsy and our website. But at the end of the year, my husband and I will go through and physically write down what we have at the end of the year for each item. And to make this really easy for us, each item in the shop has its own SKU. So to give you an example, we've got probably about 80 different bookmarks right now, and they each have their own SKU, and you can make up SKUs based on what works for you. So like for us, for bookmarks, we have the letter B as in boy, M as in Mary for bookmark, and then each one will have a number after that too. So it'll be like BM001, BM002, different things like that. So it just helps us keep track of when we're selling things, and for doing wholesale too, it just makes it a little bit easier when people want to order things. So definitely, if you haven't already, make sure you're keeping track of things with the SKU. It'll make your life so much easier, especially for taxes, I promise you. So when we do our big inventory at the end of the year, we have an Excel spreadsheet and we have different pages. So we'll have a sheet for just our book sleeves, just our bookmarks, just our stickers, things like that. Then at the end of the year, we go through and count. We'll have 5 of this bookmark and then it's this much for cost. So it just makes it so much easier having everything out on a spreadsheet. Now that's just what works for us. A lot of people will keep track of their inventory in QuickBooks as well. For me, I have a lot of handmade things that are made to order. So it doesn't necessarily mean that we need to keep track of everything, because we have inventory changing so much all the time based on what is being ordered. So like I said, for us, it works to keep track of everything in a spreadsheet at the end of the year, but you definitely can keep track in programs such as QuickBooks too. Now, when it comes to your sales, it is really important to keep track of those because you're going to need to report your income at the end of the year, but you also should be keeping track of sales tax too. Now, each state is different for your sales tax. For us here in North Dakota, I report my sales tax quarterly, but it does depend on your type of business too. So you want to do a little bit of research on your local taxes. And then there's also different regulations for when you start reaching certain amounts within other states, you'll have to start reporting to those states as well too. Now, like on Etsy, they submit all of the sales tax for you, so you don't have to remit any sales tax throughout the year. But on my Shopify, they collect sales tax from my local area, which would be North Dakota. So then I'm responsible for submitting the sales tax for North Dakota on my own. So you want to do a little bit of research on that too. If you're really unsure, definitely reach out to an accountant. Accountants will save you so much time and headache, I promise. They are definitely worth all the pennies that you'll spend on them, but they'll help get you started, get you set up in things like QuickBooks. I highly recommend QuickBooks. My mom is actually an accountant, so she helped me get set up on that, but it is definitely something that I definitely could not run my small business without. QuickBooks didn't sponsor us or anything, but it's just one of those small business things where I absolutely could not live without it because it saves me so much time and energy at the end of the year. As a small business owner, you're probably familiar with advertising and marketing. This is another one of those no-brainer things that you should be keeping track of for taxes too, whether you're promoting on social media such as Instagram or YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, whatever it might be. Keep track of all of those receipts too, because that's definitely something that you can submit for your taxes as well. And your advertising doesn't just have to be on social media. Maybe you are hosting a craft sale where you're having other vendors come in and set up booths with you as well. If you are promoting that event on your own, out of your own pocket, that is definitely something you can keep track of for marketing, which is another easy way to promote your business, but also keep track of that for taxes too. One thing that a lot of people haven't thought about for taxes is your mileage. Now, if you are like me, I have to run to the post office all the time to drop off orders. Because we live in a rural area, we don't have a local mailman that'll pick up a bunch of orders. So for me, I'm constantly running to the post office, so I keep track of my mileage. And especially if I'm running errands for the business too. If I need to go get some fabric from Hobby Lobby, or I need to go get laundry soap from Walmart or Target to wash the fabric that we're using in the studio here. There's different things that you can keep track of for your mileage too. So basically, if you're running errands for your business, write down that mileage too. You'll be surprised how quickly that adds up at the end of the year as well. Professional services are another thing that you can also deduct for taxes. Now remember that accountant I mentioned where they're worth every penny? That would be a professional service that you could keep track of as well. So in the long run, it'll help you, but it also counts towards tax deductions for your businesses. Other professional services might be hiring a trademark attorney or copyright attorney, different things like that. So reach out to your accountant and see what other kind of professional services that affect your small business that you might be able to track as well. Two more topics that are no-brainers for tax deductions are office supplies and postage. Office supplies are the daily things that you use around your office. So it might be packing tape, scissors, your boxes, whatever it might be. Keep track of all of that too. And the second one would be postage. You'd be surprised how quickly postage adds up, especially on Etsy. Every time you have to print out a shipping label, that would count towards postage. So that is another thing you're going to want to track too. You're also going to have to keep track of what your customers pay in for postage, because you're going to have to figure that in with your income from the year, because your customers are paying you for the shipping label. You'll want to count that towards your income, but then you're also going to count that as a deduction when you buy that postage label. So it's kind of a double when it comes to the postage. If you're a handmade small business owner like myself, you're familiar with all of the different supplies that go into making your different products, whether it's paper and ink to make stickers, fabric and foam to make book sleeves, coffee cups and ink for your sublimation items. All of the different supplies like that are something you're going to want to keep track of too. Not only is it good to know what you have for costs into different items, you'll want to know that for figuring out your wholesale prices if that's something you're interested in, as well as your retail prices, because obviously you want to make a profit on all of your items. But definitely reach out to your accountant, find out what you should be keeping track of for supplies and how you can be using that when you submit your taxes each year. Rent is another thing worth asking your accountant about. If you have a house or an apartment that you rent, but you have a designated room that you use as a studio space, or if you rent a retail space, a lot of times you can deduct square footage and use that on your tax reports. It's also worth asking about any machinery that you rent, such as a 3D printer or a large printer that makes and cuts your stickers. It can't hurt to ask. It might be something that you can deduct as well. Another thing that a lot of people are surprised that you can keep track of for taxes are your utilities. Utilities include different things such as electricity, internet, water, cell phone, anything that you use for your small business on a daily basis. Personally, I keep track of all of these things. I use water when I wash the fabric that comes in that we use to make our book sleeves. Obviously, electricity and internet I use on both my cell phone and my laptop all the time for social media, Etsy, my website, different things like that. So those are no-brainers for me too, as well as my cell phone. I'm constantly recording different things on my cell phone, whether it's for social media or our weekly YouTube videos. So all of these utilities are something worth keeping track of as well. And the last thing worth asking your accountant about for taxes are different subscriptions that you may have for your small business. One of the most popular subscriptions that people pay for their small business is Canva, whether you use it for making marketing material, for your social media posts, for your email newsletters, or for making different designs for the products you create. Canva is a big one worth asking your accountant about. There's also different subscriptions like YouTube, whether you subscribe to another small business owner for content creating tips or a small business coach. YouTube subscriptions are worth asking about as well. There are also different apps that you use all the time that you probably haven't even thought about, such as your website host. I personally use Shopify for our website and absolutely love it. In no way is this sponsored by Shopify. It's just one of those things that I absolutely love talking about because Shopify has made running my own website so easy. I also use a program called Trunk. Trunk is an app that syncs my inventory between Etsy and my website so that I don't have to manually go in and switch things every time we get a new order and a product sells. And lastly, there are a lot of editing apps that people use too, such as CapCut. CapCut is a program that you can download on both your computer and your phone and use it for editing your social media posts, creating reels, and also for editing your weekly YouTube videos. In case you want to learn more about some of the apps I just mentioned, I'll leave some links down below, something you guys can check out. See if there's anything that you want to use in your own small business journey too. I know this week's video is a little bit different than what I normally do, but since it's tax season here in the United States, I just wanted to do something that might help other small business owners, whether you use it for last year's taxes or implement different things for 2026 tax season. It's definitely worth checking into an accountant if you don't have one already, or asking about some of these different topics with the accountant you do have. If you made it all the way through this video and you just wanted to see our new fur baby. I don't blame you. She's the cutest little thing. But in case you're new here, I'll introduce you to our first studio dog named Luna. So this is Luna. She is our 2-year-old mini Doxie. She just turned 2 on February 1st, actually. We were hoping to get Holly in time for her birthday, but it didn't work out. We actually got Holly on Valentine's Day, so now I can say that my hubby got me a new puppy for Valentine's Day. But this is little Luna. You can see more of her in past videos if you're new to our channel here. And this is our new fur baby. This is Holly. She is the sweetest little thing. She's actually a rescue. Like I said, we just adopted her on Valentine's Day. She is a 6-year-old Chihuahua Doxie mix. And she is just the sweetest thing. She's skin and bones right now, so we gotta get a little meat on her bones here. But isn't she adorable? Yeah, she's quite the love bug, just like Luna. So you'll be seeing her more in weekly studio vlogs here too. Her and Luna are working on getting along right now. Luna gets very excited. She's still in her puppy phase. So she always wants to play and gets up in Holly's face. And Holly's not a fan of that. But they're warming up to each other. They like to snuggle under blankets and take naps. They were actually on the floor here the whole time when I was filming this. They're napping in their own little beds. But this is our new fur baby, Holly, so I hope you guys enjoy seeing her each week too. But that's going to be the end of this week's video. These girls are ready to go play. We're going to go shovel some snow. We just got 5 inches of snow last night. But like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video this week. I hope you learned a little bit. And if there's any other topics you want me to talk about in the future, definitely let me know down below in the comments. We'll catch you guys again next week. Bye for now.